I found out. My husband was cheating after 10 years, so I did this to his mistress.
Have you ever looked at someone you love and suddenly felt like you don't know them anymore? That's how it started. My name is Amanda. I'm a mother, a wife, or at least I was. And for 10 years, I thought I had a solid marriage. You know, the kind people envy. The house in Atlanta with the white porch, the 2 beautiful kids, the barbecue weekends, the matching Christmas pajamas. We had it all. Or so I believed. But looking back, I realize I was ignoring the cracks. And deep down, I think I knew. Michael started working late. First, it was once a week, then twice, then almost every night. Deadlines, he'd say. Just one more meeting. He'd whisper as he kissed my cheek with lips that didn't linger. He stopped holding my hand when we crossed the street. He stopped looking at me during dinner. He stopped seeing me. Completely. And I told myself he was just tired, stressed, that maybe I needed to spice things up. So I bought new perfume. I planned a weekend getaway, just us, no kids. But he canceled it. Said there was a work trip in Miami, 3 days. Big client. I smiled and said, "Okay, babe, I understand." But inside, something twisted. 3 days after he got back, I found it. An earring. Small. Gold. Not mine. It was sitting quietly under the passenger seat when I was cleaning out the car. Just one. I picked it up and stared at it for a full minute. You ever hold something that doesn't belong to your world and know your whole life is about to change? That was me. But I didn't scream. I didn't even cry. Not yet. I tucked the earring into my pocket, made dinner, laughed with my kids, kissed my husband goodnight. But my heart? It wasn't quiet. I started noticing things. The way he kept his phone face down at all times. How he took it to the bathroom. The new cologne I didn't buy. The way he flinched when I said, "I love you." One night he fell asleep on the couch with his laptop open beside him. It was locked, but I'd seen his password before. He thought I wasn't looking. I remembered. I typed it in. It worked. I went straight to his photo folder. There was one marked Miami trip. My fingers trembled as I clicked it. And there she was. A girl. Maybe 22. Tight red dress. Long lashes. Tan skin. Leaning into him like he was her everything. And him? He was smiling in a way I hadn't seen in years. They were on a yacht, laughing, kissing, drinking champagne. He didn't look tired. He didn't look stressed. He looked happy. And for the first time in years, I felt awake. I wanted to scream, break something, shake him awake and demand answers. But instead, I closed the laptop, stood there in the dark, and stared at the man I gave 10 years of my life to. And you know what hurt the most? It wasn't the cheating. It was the fact that I gave everything. I sacrificed. I stayed. And he just replaced me. Right then, I made a decision. I wasn't going to fall apart. I wasn't going to beg. No, I was going to do something better. But first, I needed proof. And I needed a plan. So I took a deep breath, wiped my tears, and whispered to myself, "He has no idea who he married. Where are you watching from? Let me know in the comments. Because this story's just getting started." You ever smile at someone while secretly building a storm behind your eyes? That was me. For a week, I acted like nothing changed. I cooked his favorite meals. I laughed at his dry jokes. I kissed him goodbye every morning like I always did. But inside, I was gathering fire. Because when someone breaks your heart after 10 years of loyalty, you don't just cry and move on. No, you get smart. You collect your pain and sharpen it into a weapon. And that's exactly what I did. I started with his phone. Not to snoop, not at first, just to observe. Michael had this habit. When he showered, he played music from his phone. Left it on the sink. Locked, of course. But I knew his passcode. He didn't know I knew, but I did. That man used the same 4 digits for everything. Our wedding date. Irony, huh? So one evening, while the water was running and he was humming to some old-school usher, I unlocked his phone, heart pounding, hands sweating. I went to his messages, and there she was. Tasha. I opened it. Last weekend was everything, still tasting you. I hate pretending when I know you belong with me. Did you delete the pics, just in case? I felt sick, but I didn't cry. I couldn't afford to. Not yet. I screenshotted everything. Every message. Every photo. Every emoji. Sent them to my email. Then deleted the screenshots from his gallery. Covered my tracks like a pro. Audience, what would you have done in my shoes? Tell me in the comments. Because this wasn't even the worst part. You see, I wanted to know who she was. Tasha. Young. Bold. Clearly stupid enough to think my husband was her man. So I searched her number on WhatsApp. Her profile pic popped up immediately. She was gorgeous, not gonna lie. But her bio? God don't like ugly. I laughed out loud, in the middle of my kitchen. I laughed so hard I nearly dropped his phone. Baby, you okay? He called from the shower. Yeah, I called back. Just reading something funny. And I was. Her whole existence was a joke. But it wasn't just about her. It was about me. I gave this man everything. My youth, my body, my time, my love. And he was out here kissing 22-year-olds on boats while I was folding his socks and teaching our daughter how to read? Nah, I wasn't going to just leave. I was going to make him regret it. So I printed the screenshots, bookmarked the photos, wrote down every time he said he had work trips. And then I called a lawyer. A good one. A woman. I told her everything. She told me 2 things. 1. Don't confront him yet. 2. Collect more. Much more. So I did. I started tracking his lies, setting him up with questions I already knew the answers to, watching him fumble like a boy who couldn't keep his stories straight. And every time he lied, I smiled wider. You know what they say. Hell hath no fury like a woman who gave a decade of her life to the wrong man. He didn't know what was coming, but I did. You ever walk into a room and feel like time slows down? That's what it felt like when I saw her, Tasha, in real life. Let me back up. After collecting weeks of proof, texts, emails, phone logs, even hotel receipts, I was ready. But I didn't want to just throw the truth at Michael and walk away. No, that would have been too easy. I wanted both of them to feel it. So I did something bold. I messaged her. Yep. I created a fake profile. No real name. No picture. Just a simple message. I know what you've been doing with Michael. Meet me at Leona's Cafe this Friday at 6 p.m. Come alone. If you care about your future, show up. I didn't think she'd reply. But she did. Who is this? I left it on read. That Friday, I got to the cafe 20 minutes early. I chose the booth in the corner, dim lighting, quiet enough to hear every breath. And then, she walked in. Tasha, wearing a tight crop top, high-waist jeans, heels that clicked like she owned the ground. She looked around, confused, sat down, checked her phone, waited. And then I stood, walked right over, pulled back the chair, sat across from her. She blinked. Wait, who are you? I smiled. Hi, Tasha. I'm Amanda, Michael's wife. Her jaw dropped. I wish y'all could have seen her face. Her mouth opened, then closed, like she was searching for the right words in a room full of wrong ones. I let the silence hang. Wife? She finally stammered. But he told me you were... What? I cut in. Crazy? Distant? Separated? She nodded slowly, like her brain was rewiring itself in real time. I leaned in. Listen carefully. I don't care about you. I don't care about your fake lashes or your filters or the lies he told you. I'm not here to fight over a man who forgot how to love his wife. I'm here for one reason. She swallowed. What's that? I pulled out a crisp manila envelope from my bag, laid it on the table. Divorce papers. Her eyes widened. This is for him, but I want you to hand it to him. She flinched. Why would I? Because, I said, he told you you're his future. So let him see his past walking away. From your hands. She stared at the envelope like it was ticking. Why are you doing this? She whispered. I sat back, looked her dead in the eye. Because he had the nerve to cheat, and still come home like nothing happened. Because I spent 10 years building a home while he was out building secrets. And because you thought you were winning something, but all you got was my leftovers. Silence. I stood up. I'm done crying, done waiting, done doubting my worth. He can have you, and you can have him. I walked out without waiting for her reply. And you know what? As I stepped into the night air, I felt free. But don't get it twisted. I wasn't done yet. This was just the beginning. You know that moment when everything goes quiet, right before the storm hits? That was my kitchen that night. Quiet. Too quiet. The house smelled like lemon-scented cleaner. The lights were soft, just how he liked them. The table was perfectly set. Fork, knife, napkin, even a cold glass of his favorite sweet tea. But right in the center, laid out like a gift, the envelope. The same one I handed to his mistress, now returned to where it belonged, on our dinner table, in his house, where he betrayed me. I stood at the window and waited. At 6:42 p.m., I heard his car pull into the driveway. My heart pounded, but not from fear, from freedom. He walked in whistling like life was good, like he hadn't lit our marriage on fire and danced around the ashes. Smells good, babe, he called out. What's for dinner? I didn't answer. I just kept standing there, arms crossed. He walked into the kitchen and stopped, dead in his tracks. His smile vanished when he saw the envelope. He looked at me, then back at it. What's this? He asked. I didn't move. Open it. His hands trembled slightly as he pulled the papers out. Read the top line. Petition for divorce. His whole face changed. Confusion, shock, then that fake little chuckle. Wait, what is this? Some kind of joke? I tilted my head. Do I look like I'm joking? Silence. He blinked hard. Amanda, hold on. Can we just talk about... I cut him off. Oh, now you want to talk? After 10 years of my loyalty? After sneaking around with Tasha like I'm blind and dumb? His mouth opened, then closed, then opened again. You talked to Tasha? He finally said. I smiled, but it didn't reach my eyes. She gave you that envelope. At a cafe. Remember? He looked like I'd slapped him. I walked toward him, slow and steady. You lied to me. Every I love you. Every work trip. Every late night. You fed me garbage while I was serving you faithfulness. His voice dropped low. Amanda, I made a mistake. Mistake? I laughed, but there was no humor in it. Dropping a glass is a mistake. Losing track of time is a mistake. You? You chose this. He shook his head. Please, let's fix this. I walked over, picked up the divorce papers, and handed them back to him. You can't fix a house that's already burnt down. Audience, if you were me, would you have forgiven him? Drop your answer in the comments. Be honest. He stood there, stunned. And I was done. Done with tears. Done with begging. Done with waiting for someone who already walked away long ago. But just when I thought the scene was over, he said something that stopped me cold. I didn't just cheat with her. I turned around slowly. What did you say? He lowered his head. I've been seeing someone else too. Another one? Another woman? I felt the floor shift under me. You have more? He didn't answer. And right then, I knew. I hadn't just been betrayed. I'd been living with a stranger. I stood there frozen. He had just said it. I didn't just cheat with Tasha. There's someone else. My legs went numb, My fingers curled into my palms. I swear I forgot how to breathe. Another one? I asked, my voice shaking. He wouldn't meet my eyes. That told me everything I needed to know. I whispered, "Who is she?" His jaw clenched. I didn't want you to find out like this." "Too late for that," I said coldly. "So, who is it?" He paused. "You know her." I blinked. "Wait, what?" My heart pounded. "What do you mean I know her?" I asked slowly. He finally looked at me, and his eyes, they were full of guilt, full of fear. "It's someone from your job," he said. "Her name is Tamika." "Tamika?" I gasped. No way. Not Tamika. Tamika was my coworker, my friend, the one who came over for Sunday brunch, who held my hand when I was sick, who cried with me when my mom passed. I felt sick. "You slept with Tamika?" I whispered. He stepped forward. "Amanda, I swear it didn't mean anything. It was a weak moment. I messed up. I messed up bad." I backed away like he was poison. Tears were stinging my eyes now, not the soft, sad kind. No, these tears were fire. "You didn't just cheat on me, Michael," I said, my voice cracking. "You stabbed me in the heart with people I trusted." I wanted to scream, to throw something, but instead I stood tall. "You're disgusting," I whispered. "And you think this is over?" He looked confused. "What do you mean?" I haven't even started. Because what he didn't know was that Tamika had once told me something strange, something that made no sense back then. But now it made everything clear. Let me take you back 3 months. One day, Tamika and I were working late, just the two of us. She was quiet that night, nervous. At one point, she looked at me and said, "Amanda, if a friend hurt you, would you want to know? Or would you rather live happy in the lie?" I remember laughing it off. I said, "Girl, if somebody hurt me, I want the truth. Always." She looked like she was going to say something else, but she didn't. Now I know why. What would you have done if your friend was secretly with your husband? Would you confront her? Let me know in the comments. Because I was about to do something no one saw coming. I picked up my phone, found her name. Tamika, work bestie. I stared at it for a second, then pressed call. She answered on the second ring. "Hey girl," she said, too cheerful. I didn't waste time. "Tamika," I said coldly, "I know everything." Dead silence. Then, click. She hung up. No apology, no denial. She ran. And that's when I knew she was guilty. But what I didn't know yet was that Tamika wasn't just another affair. She was holding something even darker. A truth about Michael that would change everything. Can you guess what secret Tamika is hiding? Drop your prediction in the comments before you hear the final twist. Because in Chapter 6, I find out. And what I uncover? It shook me to my core. It was the morning after Tamika hung up on me. I hadn't slept. I'd stared at the ceiling all night, heart thudding like a drum, eyes wide open, asking myself the same question. What else are they hiding? And then, a memory hit me. 2 months ago, Tamika missed work for a whole week. She told us she had the flu, but when she came back, she looked different, weird, nervous, fragile. She had this glow, like something had happened, but no one dared ask. Now I knew why. Viewers, have you ever ignored a red flag in someone you trusted? Tell me in the comments. Because I ignored mine, and I was about to pay for it. I drove to her apartment. My hands were shaking on the wheel. When I knocked on the door, she opened it slowly. She looked like a ghost. No makeup, hair in a scarf, eyes tired. "Amanda," she said quietly. I stepped inside without a word. And then I heard it. A soft cry. Coming from the other room. My whole body froze. It was the sound of a baby. I turned to her slowly. "Whose baby is that, Tamika?" She swallowed hard. Tears welled up in her eyes. "I didn't want you to find out like this," she whispered. I took a step closer. Is it his? Her silence was the answer. I walked into the room, and there he was, a tiny baby boy, no more than a few weeks old, wrapped in a blue blanket, sleeping peacefully. And on the nightstand, a framed picture of Michael, holding him, smiling, like they were a family. I gasped so hard I nearly fell backward. He didn't just cheat, he made a whole baby, with my best friend. 10 years of marriage, and he was playing house behind my back. You let me cry on your couch while you were pregnant with my husband's child? I asked, my voice trembling. Tamika was sobbing now. I didn't mean for it to happen. He said he was going to leave you. He said he was unhappy. I stared at her. I had no more words, no more tears. Just clarity. That man, that life, it was dead to me. I left that apartment and never looked back. I filed the papers. For real this time. But I didn't just walk away. I reclaimed myself, started therapy, took solo trips, started my own podcast for women who've been betrayed. My pain became power. People ask me now, Amanda, if you could go back, would you change anything? No, because he broke me. But I built me back, stronger, smarter, and free. If you've ever rebuilt your life after heartbreak, comment stronger below. Let's fill this comment section with strength. Because this isn't just a story about betrayal. It's a story about becoming. It's a reminder. Never let someone's lies become the limit of your life. You are worth more. You deserve better. And if you're watching this from anywhere in the world, just know, this girl right here, she made it out. And you can too.